Right. Hi again, everybody. It is 5:20. I'm conscious of the time, so I think in the interest of time, we should begin again. Thank you, everybody, for um, spending your afternoon to join this webinar. So, in the next 60 minutes or so, we hope to uh, give an introduction of what the Women in STEM Scholarship is all about, in case there are individuals in this room who are hearing about this scholarship program for the first time. And if you have already begun your application, we hope to provide you with further information that you need to complete your application. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to move on to my next slide. Right. So today I will be joined by my colleague Craig to introduce also the Women in STEM Scholarship. But at the second half of today's session, we will be hearing from representatives from three UK universities that applicants from the Philippines can apply to. So we have representatives from Imperial College London, the University of Warwick, and the University of Bath. And each of them will introduce their own institutions, go through the STEM programs that you can apply to, and as well as the application requirements and processes. And at the end of this webinar, we will open the floor for questions. Again, please use the chat function for your questions, and we will be monitoring that throughout the session. So in case you are hearing about the Women in STEM Scholarship for the first time, so the Women in STEM Scholarship offers fully funded scholarship grants for women or individuals who identify as women to study for a master's degree in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program at a leading UK university. So just to repeat again, this is a scholarship program for master's degree in 3 UK universities. So we are looking for women with STEM backgrounds who can demonstrate their need for financial support, and those who wish to inspire future generations of women to pursue careers in STEM. So we have 2 scholarships for these individuals. So for the first time, the UK government has launched the Asean UK Sage Women in STEM scholarships. And again, my colleague Craig Farmer will talk about this shortly. And we also have the British Council Women in STEM scholarship that is now running in its 4th year. So just to avoid any confusion, the ASEAN UK Sage Women in STEM scholarships and the British Council Women in STEM scholarships, typically they will cover, they're both fully funded scholarships, and it's just that uh, the funding source, and you apply to different universities. So for example, for the British Council Women in STEM scholarship, you can apply to the University of Bath. And for the Sage Women in STEM scholarship, you can apply to the University of Warwick and Imperial College London. Again, and this afternoon, you'll get to hear from 3 reps from these universities. In terms of criteria, again, we are looking for women and people who identify as women who can take up a course of study in the UK starting the current academic year. So if you choose to apply in this cycle, you will start your master's degree in the UK by September or October of this year. So this in 2024. Applicants should be able to demonstrate a need for financial support, must have an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's degree. You should also demonstrate the level of English required by the UK university that you want to apply to. You're active in the field with work experience or a proven interest in your subject area, and you are willing to engage as a committed UK or British Council alumni. Please note that further requirements may be required by each of the 3 UK universities. Before I go further, can I just verify if I'm still being heard? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. All right, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for those who gave a thumbs up. Please note that you are not eligible to apply if you hold a British citizenship, if you are an employee, a former employee, or a relative of an employee who works at His Majesty's government, um, and British Council scholarships for women in STEM eligible countries. You're also not eligible if you currently receive financial support towards your study program in the UK or any other source, and this includes other UK government or UK institutions. You're also not eligible if you have previously studied in the UK and you have received funding from the UK government or another UK institution. Again, this is a fully funded scholarship, so the grant will include full tuition fee, your living stipend in the UK. So this will include your living cost, including your accommodation, your travel costs to and from the UK, visa and health coverage fees that you usually pay for when you apply for your student visa, and a refund of an IELTS English language test if needed. If you're not familiar with IELTS, that is one of the English proficiency requirements you need to submit as part of your application to universities, and IELTS you can take at the British Council. In terms of applications, so applications can be made directly to the participating universities. Please do check your application requirements. Again, they will be talking about that later today. You're also free to make more than one application, but do note that because you are applying to each of the university, you will need to apply through each institution separately. Also, deadlines for the master's scholarship vary, so please await for the advice of our colleagues from the 3 universities to share with us when the deadline is. So that is it for me, and I am now giving the floor to Craig Farmer, who will talk about the ASEAN UK Sage Women in STEM Scholarships. Craig, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Pierre, for the introduction and background. That was fantastic. So let me, so I think the idea is that the slides will be shared. But in the meantime, yes, let me just introduce myself again. It's great to be here. My name is Craig Farmer, and I'm the team leader for the ASEAN UK Supporting the Advancement of Girls' Education programme, or SAGE, or ASEAN UK Sage for short. So next slide, please. Yeah, let me just again explain a little bit about what Pierre said a moment ago about the 2 scholarship schemes that we're talking about today. One is the British Council Scholarships scheme for women in STEM, and the one which I'm here to explain a little bit about the background of is the ASEAN UK Sage Women in STEM Scholarship Scheme. This one we're running for the first time, and I'd just like to acknowledge the sort of different route of funding for this. So we are funded fully by UK International Development. And next slide, please, Pierre. So our funding and also our partners. So we can see the logos on screen already. So it's a FCDO UK government funded programme delivered in cooperation and collaboration with our partners and strategic partners. So on screen now, we can see that we're working in cooperation with ASEAN. We're delivered by British Council, so much as Pierre has just said, we're about creating educational opportunities and cultural relations opportunities worldwide. So hopefully that's the reason why everybody's on the call today. Our partner on or co-lead on the ASEAN UK Sage programme is SEMEO. So that's the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education organisation. And we're also collaborating with the EdTech Hub and ACER on this particular programme. So next slide, please. Okay, so I think just to say again, very much in brief, the programme is around, it's a programme for ASEAN and Timor-Leste, and we're about honouring and reflecting UK commitments to improving education outcomes across ASEAN. So very much about the shared goals that the UK has and that ASEAN shares around promoting equality and improving education in the ASEAN region, and also linking up to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So particularly SDG 4, on education and SDG 5 on gender equality. So on this screen, again, we just say a little bit more about the programme goal, which is around promoting a sustained and supported access to inclusive and quality education offering. And we have 3 focus areas in our programme. The first is around foundational learning for boys and girls. The second is around out-of-school girls and marginalised groups, so understanding why girls are not attending school and helping those girls and other marginalised groups to be able to access education. The third area is around gender barriers, and that's where the Women in STEM scholarships come in. So next slide, please. So again, for us, the reason why we're running this scholarship scheme for the first time is because we want to create opportunities to promote equity, promote equality and empowerment when faced with unfairness, disparity and disadvantage. So, for example, there's a 2022 UN report which says that only 20% of the workforce in the STEM sector is made up of women. So that's a clear disparity that we'd like to address. And we've got various studies which show there's disparity in access to careers in STEM and disparity in terms of pay, publication and progress. So that's what we're all about trying to address with this scheme. We're around breaking down barriers, increasing access, encouraging young women to pursue careers in STEM, and also supporting people who wouldn't otherwise be able to access a master's degree at really prestigious top UK universities. So hopefully, this is potentially a real life-changing opportunity for people on the call today. And the UK mission to the UK ambassador from the mission to ASEAN puts it much better than I can. The quote on screen from Sarah Tiffin talks about smashing gender barriers and pushing up future female leaders. So next slide, please. Under the ASEAN UK Sage scholarships, we're partnering with 2 universities, and I think I'm really pleased to say we've got representatives from both on the call today. So it's the University of Warwick and Imperial College London. I'll let those colleagues talk to this, but for students and young people in the Philippines, you're eligible for both universities. Next slide, please. This one is stating the obvious, but the application process is now open, and I would really encourage everyone who's eligible to put in an application, and I hope that today's call is really helpful to support you to do that. Next slide, please. And that's really it. That's really it for me. So thank you, Pierre, and for the opportunity to speak, and thank you all for listening. We'll just round off on these useful links to more information about the ASEAN UK Sage programme and the Sage Women in STEM Scholarship Scheme. So thank you, and back to you, Pierre.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Craig. And before we move on to the presentation of the individual universities, I'm delighted to give the floor to British Ambassador Laure Beaufils to give us a message this afternoon. Laure, over to you.
Thank you, Pierre. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hello, Laure.
Good afternoon. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everyone. And may I start by saying happy Women's Month. And it's fantastic that we are holding this event in the middle of Women's Month. And I'm delighted that in the Philippines, we don't just have International Women's Day, but indeed a celebration of women for the whole month. I sometimes say that I wish we had International Day of Women's Rights rather than just women, because it's not just about giving flowers and other gifts and celebrating all that women contribute, but also realizing that we've got so much further to go together to reach gender equality and to ensure that women are able to deliver on their full potential. It's also important to recognize that progress is not always linear, so it's absolutely essential that we continue to talk about women's rights, that we continue to shine a spotlight on where there is disparity, and that we continue to emphasize what women bring to the party, whether it be at the board level in businesses or indeed in science. And this is obviously why it's such a perfect time to be holding this event. And you all know this as well as I do, but nonetheless, it's important to again state that in the Philippines, in the UK, and indeed globally, women continue to face barriers to entry and advancement in STEM. And that is based on all kinds of stereotypes, cultural biases, and indeed systemic challenges, which limit their participation and their opportunities for growth and innovation. In ASEAN, we know that girls often outperform boys in math and science in primary and secondary education, but we see a gender gap in STEM education in tertiary, with only 19% of women obtaining STEM degrees compared to 40% of men. So what happens in that point is so critical for gender equality. And we know from a 2022 UN Progress Report on gender equality that only 20% of jobs in STEM are held by women, and that's across the world. We know from other studies that there are such high disparities in publication, in pay, in career progression, and across the field in women in STEM. And this is also what today is about. We know that behind these statistics, there are fantastic success stories. There are countless women who have defied the odds, who have broken barriers and made brilliant, dare I say, indispensable contributions to our collective progress. And we want more of these women, and we want more of them in ASEAN, and indeed more in the Philippines. I believe, and I know my government believes, that empowering women in STEM is a strategic imperative. And it is not just because it's fair or right. It is because women in STEM make different decisions. They lead to different outcomes by virtue of what they bring to the scientific table, if you allow me to say that. The variety and diversity of their backgrounds, of their lived realities, and indeed of their perspectives mean that women often challenge traditional assumptions. They call for transformation. And thus, when we harness the full potential of our female talents, we unlock a wealth of creativity and ingenuity and drive innovation and meaningful sustainable growth. And goodness knows we need that when we look at all of the challenges that we are faced with across the world that need STEM solutions. And that is obviously everything from climate change and biodiversity to pandemic preparedness and so many other challenges that require innovation, for example, AI and cyber. That's why I'm so proud that as the UK, we've so strongly supported STEM education in the Philippines. We've done this through a variety of tools. We've used Chevening scholarships to enable students to pursue postgraduate studies in areas that include sciences, technology, and engineering. We have supported PhD students as well as supported joint UK-Philippines research collaborations in STEM subjects. We have enhanced teachers and trainers' competencies and methodologies in teaching STEM. We have offered UK-Philippines joint master's programs in data science, robotics engineering, biological, oceanography, meteorology, to name just a few. I believe that as we work together to address common challenges and pursue shared goals, the exchange of knowledge and expertise and the people-to-people and institutional links that we have already served to set up, they are a catalyst for deeper cooperation and mutual understanding. We know from recent global challenges that we are interconnected and that science and partnerships in science in particular are key to addressing those common challenges that we have. Thus, I am absolutely thrilled we are launching this Women in STEM scholarship with ASEAN. We were just hearing about Sarah Tiffin and her speaking about smashing gender inequality. We believe that this program will help smash this gender inequality, but it will also empower women and girls and indeed marginalized groups. It will contribute towards the achievement of the SDGs. It will help to foster a more prosperous future for the ASEAN region. So I absolutely cannot wait to see more Filipino women pursue their education in STEM and to use the opportunity of these scholarships. We need you, women, to inspire other women. We need you to study math and science as an opening to exciting and wide-ranging careers. Science and innovation are not possible without a healthy supply of talented young scientists and engineers, and that must include women scientists and engineers. Please do apply for the scholarship. Do so quickly because the deadline is coming up fast. I think it's the 5th of April. We want to work with you. We want to hear from you. We want you to thrive. And we want to shape a culture with you, which is about diversity, about collaboration, about empathy, inclusivity, and together we will build a more just and sustainable world for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laura. All right. At this point in the webinar, we are now going to hear from the three representatives from each of the university where Filipinos can make an application to. Now we will start off with Imperial College London. Can I invite Jennie to begin her presentation?
Okay, yes, let me just introduce myself while the slides are put on screen. My name's Jennie. I'm the Senior International Student Recruitment Officer for Southeast Asia and Australasia. So I'm going to give maybe a 10-minute intro to Imperial, and you can see on screen, we are a world-leading university. We're ranked 6th in the world in the current QS World University Rankings 2024. And what that means is that there is a lot of recognition around the world for an Imperial degree, the quality of education we provide, the graduates that leave us, and the research that we produce. If we go on to the next slide, please. And we are a research-led university, so we don't just teach, we place a lot of emphasis on research, which I think as a master's student is something that's probably very much of interest to you. And in the latest Research Excellence Framework 2021, we were top in the UK overall with a greater proportion of 4-star world-leading research than any other UK university. And we're very much tackling global challenges around the world. So, for example, we had teams working on mapping the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and on modelling different social distancing measures. If we go on to the next screen, please. So we are a STEM-based university. We're the only UK university to focus entirely on science, engineering, medicine and business. So if you love STEM, it's a fantastic environment to be in because you are absolutely surrounded by it, by the people you'll meet on your course, the students you'll live with in your accommodation, or you might meet through extracurricular activities, through the researchers, the academics teaching you. And we're a medium-sized university, probably about 23,000 students and half split between undergrad and postgraduates. We go on to the next slide, please. Just a little bit about our location. We are based in South Kensington. It's a beautiful part of central London. You can see it on screen at the moment with Hyde Park just behind us. And the Royal Albert Hall is the circular building. That's a concert venue in London that we use for graduation. So this is where our main campus is. For postgraduates, you may be based on our new White City campus. This is in West London and it's in Zone 3, Zone 4. So if you know the London zones on the Underground, Zone 1 is Central and then Zone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in Zone 3 is our White City campus and that was first opened in 2012. For life sciences, particularly around ecology and conservation, you may be based at Silwood Park. This is in Ascot, just outside of London. And we also have 6 hospital campuses. So anyone on perhaps a medicine stream may be based at one of those. And as any London university is going to tell you, we have a lot of engagement with employers and companies based in the city. They come into our career events, they come in to talk to our students. So you have the opportunity of everything London has to offer you as well, and all the networking that provides. Next slide. Just to highlight the Women in STEM scholarships, we have a number of courses, master's programs that are included within the Women in STEM scholarships that Imperial is offering. You can see the main departments on screen. I urge you to have a look at our scholarship information online to check that the master's program you're interested in is included within that scholarship. And it covers a wide range of things like applied machine learning to climate change management and finance. So there's a range of courses within the scholarship you can apply for. And go on to the next slide. And I know my colleagues already covered the eligibility criteria. There's 2 points I want to pull out on this slide. One is demonstrating a case for financial support and socioeconomic needs. And one is going to be demonstrating how you are going to engage with women in STEM once you graduated. So what are you going to give back to inspire other women in STEM? The reason I wanted to pull out those 2 criteria is when you apply for the scholarship at Imperial, there is an application form for the scholarship, and there'll be 2 sections that asks for you for more detail on those 2 criteria. So if you are thinking of the scholarship, do start having to think now about how you can demonstrate that case for financial support, and how you can demonstrate what you might have already done to inspire women in STEM and what you will continue to do after you graduate. If we go on to the next slide. In terms of how to apply for Imperial, you do have to apply for the master's program first. It is direct to Imperial. It's an online application. Most importantly, you must receive an offer before you can apply for the scholarship. As you heard, the scholarship deadline is the 5th of April, so that is less than a month. So if you are thinking of applying to Imperial, I do urge you to apply within the next few days to give us the opportunity to process that application and get an offer to you, so you have the opportunity to apply for the scholarship. I'll talk about deadlines for courses in a few minutes, but you do need to submit a separate application for the Asean UK Sage Women in STEM Scholarship. And as I mentioned, it's an online application form available under our scholarship information. If we go on to the next slide. So a little bit about writing a successful master's application before I hand it over to my colleague from University of Warwick. As I mentioned, for masters, you do apply online direct to Imperial. You can choose up to 2 courses, but these are in preference order. So you'll be considered for your first course. You'll only consider for the second course if you're rejected from the first one. So do be careful when you're filling in our application form for the master's program, what order you put the courses. With the business school, you can only apply to 1 course, and there are in fact 2 courses within our business school that are eligible for this scholarship. I mentioned one earlier, climate change management and finance, so often ones that have still a STEM focus. Some of our departments, you may notice if you look online on how to apply, will have application rounds, and you may find that the deadline for the application round is actually after the scholarship deadline. If that is the case, I will urge you to email me. You can see my email on screen at the moment. And if you let me know which subject you're interested in and it has application rounds, we are talking to the admissions teams in those departments to see if we can fast track master's applications for students who are eligible for the scholarship. So if it's a course that has a round and the deadline is after the scholarship, email me and we can talk to the department for you to see if we can fast track that. Your personal statement and your references are going to be very important. And in terms of entry requirements, it really does vary from course to course. So if you look online at our course information, you will find that it will give the entry requirements based on a UK degree. So you'll see the grades first, 2-1, 2-2, and a third. This is based on your undergraduate degree. It's important to note that most courses will ask for you to come from a certain subject background. This is so that we know you've got the background in the subject to then succeed at master's level. And if you would like to know the equivalent GPAs or grades for a qualification from the Philippines, again, please feel free to email me, let me know which masters you're interested in, details about the university and degree that you studied at undergraduate level, and I can confirm those entry requirements for you. So if they're not available on the course page itself, just get in touch with me before you apply and we can look into that for you. If we go on to the next slide. very last thing I want to highlight, because we often get questions around how to write a successful master's personal statement. This is for the course, not the scholarship. A few tips I just wanted to share. Normally we expect them to be 1 to 2 pages long. And you're really using it to demonstrate the course is right for you and you have the skills, knowledge and aptitude to succeed at master's level in that subject. So we recommend using the course information as a guide. You should really be tailoring your personal statement to the degree subject at Imperial you're applying to. A lot of students fall into the trap of writing just a very generic personal statement around the subject, but because it's a direct application to Imperial, and a lot of other universities will probably give similar advice, your personal statement should be tailored to that master's program at that institution. Demonstrate that you understand what this course entails and then how you are prepared for it in what you've done at undergraduate level or in your extracurriculars, and how you are the right candidate for it. You can cover things like what you've done in your current studies, why you chose the course, particular work experience or other activities and skills you've developed, extracurriculars to show you're a well-rounded person, and why you chose that university. If we go on to the next slide, I just want to highlight that the personal statement for the business school is slightly different. So you will have to answer 4 questions for a business school personal statement with a character limit of 1,500, including spaces per question. So be aware for business school courses, they are very different in terms of what they look for. And if we just go on to my final slide, this should be the very last one from Imperial. You have my email address on there. There is time for questions at the end of this webinar, but if you don't have a chance to ask, do drop me an email. I'm more than happy to help you in any way I can. Thank you very much.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, Jenny. Again, we will have a Q&A at the end of the session. So if you have any questions that you want to raise to any of the speakers, please do put them in the chat box. If your question is directed towards a particular university, please make sure to include in your question the name of the university you want to address the question to. Okay, so the next, our next university is the University of Warwick. Should I invite Imran? There you go. Hello, Imran. The floor is yours.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Imran. I'm from the University of Warwick. I'm the Warwick Liaison Manager for Southeast Asia. Now, let me start sharing my slides. Right. All right, so today I'll be telling you a little bit more about the University of Warwick and why you might want to consider studying at our university. And also I'll go through with you some of the courses that are available for the UK Asean Sage Women in STEM Scholarship. To start with, I'll tell you a little bit about Warwick in brief. We are a middle-sized university, approximately 30,000 students with over 10,000 international students from 150 countries. So what you'll get when you go to the University of Warwick is a university with a very strong, international student population that makes up about anywhere between 35 to 40% of the population. We are a Russell Group university, which is, and in case you're not familiar with the term, the Russell Group is the group of leading UK research universities. And in terms of where we are located in a city called Coventry, right? So we are in Coventry, and that is about 20 minutes train ride away from Birmingham and 1 hour train ride away from London. One of the things I love about the University of Warwick is that, since you have the best of both worlds, on the one hand, you have a beautiful countryside campus, and I'm going to show you some photos later. A beautiful countryside campus, very green, very, a very natural environment. And yet at the same time, when you want to go to the big cities, you want to go to Birmingham, it's only a 20-minute train ride away. When you want to go to London, it's only 1 hour train ride away. Now, a little bit about the academic excellence that you can find at the University of Warwick. We are a top 10 UK university. So, for example, if you look at some of the university league tables or ranking tables in the UK, you'll find that we are consistently in the top 10. So, for example, in 2024, The Guardian named us the 9th university in the UK. And in terms of our global rankings, we are 67th in the QS World University Rankings. We're also very proud of our research excellence. 92% of our research is considered world leading or internationally excellent. And this was one of the outcomes of the Research Excellence Framework assessment, which is done by the UK government, where they found that, like I said, 92% of the research is either world leading or internationally excellent. Apart from the excellent research coming out of the University of Warwick, we are also very proud of the fact that we have been awarded gold for the Teaching Excellence Framework. This is another a UK government assessment exercise where universities are assessed based on the quality of their teaching, and we were awarded gold for our student experience, our student outcomes, and also overall teaching excellence. Now, one of the things that you'll find at the University of Warwick is that you'll be working with professors who are doing their own research, creating new knowledge for the world. And on top of that, our professors, they also work very closely with industry, right? So, the knowledge that is being created at University of Warwick, it is disseminated through industry. We work with industry partners to put in place, the practical applications of our research. For example, we have a knowledge transfer partnership working with Siemens to address their delivery demand challenges, and that's through our academic department called WMG. Another knowledge transfer partnership that we have at Warwick is with AstraZeneca, and that partnership is all about improving the product quality and manufacturing processes of AstraZeneca. Right. So apart from these two examples, our academics also work closely with industry partners like Jaguar Land Rover, Tata Motors, NASA. And so when you come to the University of Warwick, you can be assured that, the knowledge that you receive is not just theoretical, it's also something that has a lot of practical value and that is being tested out in the industry. We also have a great career services department, which is one of the biggest in the UK. As a result of their work, Warwick is proud to have been named the UK's 5th most targeted university by the UK's top employers. This is something, this was a result that we gleaned from the survey done by High Flyers Research, right? So that means amongst the top 100 UK companies, when they're looking for, people to hire, Warwick is number 5 on the list. We are also number 55 in the world for employer reputation, and this is, a ranking that we got from the QS World University Rankings, and our graduates are also the 6th highest paid graduates in the UK after 6 months after graduation. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is that for those of you who are planning to go to Warwick or are thinking of going to Warwick, you can be assured that there will be a lot of career planning and support that is given to you. So for example, things that you can do to get the career support include arranging for one-to-one appointment with a career consultant. They will help you with CV writing. They will be able to help you with, job interview training, for example. There are also skills workshops and events. And also because, for those of you who are thinking of, the UK ASEAN Sage Women in STEM Scholarship, you have to come back to your home country. And at the University of Warwick, we do work with global recruiters on recruitment events and job opportunities that are international as well. That means, working with organizations from your home country. There are also a lot of online career resources that you can tap on when you go to the University of Warwick, and even as a graduate, even as an alumni, you will continue to have support in terms of these online career resources. It's a buzzing campus at the University of Warwick. So we are a campus university. So a campus university means that in one big area, you will find all the facilities that you need, including the academic buildings, including food, bars, cafes, restaurants, medical center, sports facilities, etc. The picture that you have right in front of you is the Warwick Arts Centre. It's one of the biggest art centers of its kind outside of London, and so we, when international touring companies perform, for example, very often they call on the Warwick Arts Centre. In the Warwick Arts Centre, also you have 3 cinema screens, a small museum, and so lots of things to keep you occupied. Also, sports facilities. We have fantastic sports facilities. For example, what you see in front of you, unfortunately, is not a photo of the inside. Inside, this is what the sports hub looks like on the outside. But basically, inside you'll find squash courts. You'll find swimming pools. You'll find badminton courts, and all sorts of a mega gym, and all sorts of other sports facilities that you would be able to use when living on campus. There's even a grocery store right in the heart of campus, and of course campus accommodation, right? So for example, if you're staying in Warwick and you want on-campus accommodation, we would be able to provide you with that. This is a bird's eye view of what campus looks like. Like I told you, it's a beautiful, clean, green countryside environment. So on the bottom half of the photo, where you see some of these brown color buildings, that's some of the student accommodation, and the white color buildings right in the sort of top half of the building, that would be central campus, where all the facilities, the libraries, the faculty buildings, etc., that's where all of them are located. Everything is within walking distance. Campus is a very safe, beautiful, and green environment. But if you wish to live off campus, that's possible as well. And our accommodation team would be able to assist you with off-campus accommodation applications if you need the assistance. We have a students' union, with all the sporting activities as well as cultural societies that you can engage in, and that is what keeps campus very dynamic. That's what keeps campus buzzing with activity. And there's also a lot of support and well-being in terms of support to students via their personal tutors, students' union services. We have a multi-faith chaplaincy on campus, including a chapel, a health center when you're not feeling well, and security patrols to keep campus safe. In terms of admissions for Filipino students, we will ask for you to sit for an IELTS test or another, another approved English language test. It could be the TOEFL IBT, for example, but basically we would need an English test from you, and also a bachelor's degree from a center of excellence with the following equivalencies. So for example, some courses do accept the equivalent of a 2-2 or a second lower degree, and in the Philippines, we would consider that a degree with the cum laude honors, or otherwise, if we're asking for a 2-1 or a second upper degree, then that would be the equivalent of a magna cum laude. Now, in terms of the courses that you could apply for when, if you're thinking of applying for the Asean UK Sage Women in STEM scholarships, at University of Warwick, these are the eligible courses. So the first one right at the very top is Analytical Sciences and Instrumentation. That, to clarify, that is a course that is offered by the Department of Chemistry. Many of the other courses are self-explanatory: MSc Computer Science, Cybersecurity Engineering, Cybersecurity Management, etc. Right? And so as you can see, the courses that you can apply for, they come from the Department of Computer Science, they come from Department of Chemistry, they come from the Department of Life Sciences, they come from WMG, which stands for the Warwick Manufacturing Group. And also, we have a very interesting course, which is called the Master of Arts and Science in Global Sustainable Development. That is a relatively new course, and that is a course that we have developed in response to the need for more sustainability experts. Now, I think Jennie has done such a great job of, talking about, how to write a personal statement, what's required of you. And for University of Warwick, I would just echo that, in terms of making an application, you do need to show that you are familiar with what Warwick offers in terms of the course and why you would be a good fit for that course. The only difference I would say is that at the University of Warwick, if you're thinking of applying for the scholarship, you don't need to receive an offer before you apply. All you need to do is to apply for the course first. And after you have applied for the course, we will be giving you a Warwick ID number. And with this ID number, you will then be able to go online and apply for the scholarship. It doesn't matter that you don't have like an offer from Warwick yet. That's fine, as long as you have the Warwick ID number, which you get by doing first the online application for the course at Warwick, then you can apply for the scholarship. All right, the deadline is 12 p.m. British Summer Time on 5th of April. And if you want to find out more about the courses on offer, for example, what will you study, the modules, the career options that are open to you after you graduate, please go to the web page, and I've got listed the URL here at the bottom of this slide, warwick.ac.uk/study/postgraduate/courses, right? So when you go to that URL, you'll be able to see a whole list of courses. Just choose the course that you're interested in and you'll be able to find the details there, right? Including things like the entry requirements and like I said, the modules, etc. And this is my contact. I've got my email address noted down there, as well as my WhatsApp number. So you'd be able to WhatsApp me if that's more convenient for you. I'm happy to take any questions about applying to the University of Warwick, and anything else about applying for Warwick or the STEM scholarship. All right, so I've come to the end of my presentation, and now I will stop sharing my slides and hand over the mic back to Pierre.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Imran. And now on to the third UK university. So can I call on Navdeep from the University of Bath for her presentation? Navdeep, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name's Navdeep Uppal. I'm just going to try and share my screen now. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully you can all see my screen.
Yes, we
now.
see it.
So
thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So thanks, everybody. My name's Navdeep Uppal. I'm head of postgraduate taught student recruitment at the University of Bath, and I'm here today to speak to you about the British Council scholarships we have for women in STEM. So I'll just run through the presentation. Hopefully it works okay. So what I'm going to cover today is where is Bath, where are we, why come and study at the University of Bath, eligibility for the Women in STEM scholarship, and how to make an application. So Bath is located in the southwest of the UK. We are a Georgian city, beautiful architecture, as you can see. Some of it here hasn't uploaded properly. We are 80 minutes from London by train and 50 minutes to Bristol Airport. Heathrow is around sort of two hours away, but you can get into central London by train in 80 minutes from our city centre. As I said, we're a UNESCO World Heritage City. We're famous for our architecture. We're a fairly small city with a population of around about 110,000, and a large part of that is the student population as well. We're famous for our ancient Roman thermal spa, and that's where Bath gets its name from, as well as the city of Bath. We have been voted as one of the world's greatest places to live by the Time magazine in July 2021. And we are always at the top in terms of university towns for the safest place to come and study the safest town or city in the UK. So again, in the Complete University Guide 2023, we were the second safest city in the UK, well, England and Wales. And just to give you a view of the Georgian architecture, this is just a picture, a photo of the city centre itself. You can see the famous Royal Crescent, the circus here, and just gives you an idea of that sort of blend of the greenery and the Georgian architecture in our city. And again, a close-up of the Royal Crescent. And you might know us because we're famous for Jane Austen having lived in Bath, and also some of you have seen the series Bridgerton that was also filmed in the city of Bath. And again, just some more images of the city. We're surrounded by beautiful countryside as well in terms of where we are, so it's easy to get out to other places. And this is campus itself, so I'm going to move on to why come and study at the University of Bath. And just to focus on some of our rankings, we are in the top 150 in the World QS rankings, and we're in the top 5 in the UK Complete University Guide. We're in the sort of top 10 for the national rankings in the UK. And we also have, like our other institutions today, we have the Gold Award for the Teaching Excellence Framework as well. This is the campus itself. So we sit upon a hill just above the city, so the Georgian architecture. We're a modern campus. We have around 20,000 students on campus, and 1/3 of these come from outside of the UK. We have around 15,000 undergraduates and 5,000 postgraduate students, but you can see that sort of we have accommodation dotted around the campus, and then we have excellent sporting facilities. We have Olympic athletes training on campus, and then we've got sort of the greenery as well around the campus itself. We're about a mile from the city centre, so not so far. We're on a huge hill, so sometimes it's good to get the bus up but walk down if it's a beautiful day. And just sort of going to play this video for you just to give you an idea of what campus itself looks like. So this is an aerial shot of the campus, some of our classrooms and facilities that we have on campus. This is the student accommodation. We have different types of accommodation available on campus, from sort of ensuite rooms to shared bathrooms, some of our dining facilities that can be included within your accommodation package as well. And then we've got the Edge there, which is our art centre. So whilst we concentrate our courses on more STEM and business focused, we do have an excellent art centre for you to, for any of you interested in pursuing that side of things. Okay, I'm going to move on from this to the next slide and talk about the eligibility criteria for the scholarships themselves. So we have got 5 scholarships for students from 4 different countries, and Philippines is one of them. So this does apply to yourself. What we are looking for is, in terms of eligibility criteria, is that studied at degree level previously, and you must have applied for one of our master's courses, and I'll go on to list the eligible master's courses that apply for the Women in STEM scholarships. Demonstrate a strong case for financial support, and I think this is going to be the case for all of the scholarships that have been discussed today. We're looking for a high academic standard in terms of your degree, undergraduate degree, and there is a criteria to return to your country of citizenship for a minimum of 2 years after you have been awarded your scholarship, and you must identify as a woman. So they're the main criteria for the scholarship themselves. Excuse me. And in terms of the courses that we have, they're mainly based in our Faculty of Science and Faculty of Engineering and Design. So we have 7 courses there: biotechnology, computer science, robotics and autonomous systems. We have a number of sort of streams from that: automotive technology, architectural engineering and environmental engineering as well. So those are the courses that are eligible for you to apply for the Women in STEM Scholarship for the University of Bath. The deadline to apply for the scholarship is the 30th of April. There is a separate application form, but we do recommend that you have made an application for the course before you apply for the scholarship itself. So it's 2 separate applications for the course and the scholarship, but we have a deadline for the scholarship of the 30th of April. And as I said, it's helpful if you've applied for your course and you have your student number that you can actually apply for on the scholarship form. So that's just an example of what the scholarship form looks like. And the really important bit, what we're looking for in a Women in STEM candidate: so strong academic credentials, a passion for your chosen subject. So when you're applying for the scholarship itself, we really want to see that come through in your personal statement. A strong desire to use your scholarship to support other women in the STEM industry. And I think that's already been picked up by our other speakers as well today, that we really need to see that reflected in your application, and a strong case for financial support. So any evidence you've got that you can put into your application and make it a stronger case, these are the things to concentrate to make a really good application. And this is just one of our students who was awarded the Women in STEM Scholarship for last year. So we took part in different countries last year, but as you can see, our student was overjoyed in terms of getting that scholarship. I've met with her recently and she's having a fantastic experience at Bath. And I think we're going to go into questions separately, but there's a QR code there if you did want to scan for any further information. Thank you. I'll stop sharing now.
Thank you very much, Navdeep. So at this point, I'd like to invite all participants, if you have any further questions that you would like to raise to myself or to all our speakers, you may do so now. Before we proceed, before we address each of the questions that we have in the chat box, allow me to just quickly share this QR code. So after the Q&A, we invite you to please take some time to fill out the feedback form. You can do that right after we finish our Q&A. I'll also put the link to the feedback form in the chat box, so you can just click on it. Okay, so let me just go back to the questions. There was one question earlier asking about the availability of a master's in science communication. I have shared a list. I have shared a link of the Women in STEM Scholarship, and hopefully that is useful. But can I just ask the speakers if there is a course similar to science communication in each of your university?
I'm happy to start because I think originally it was addressed to Imperial. We do have an MSc in Science Communication, but unfortunately it's not included in the Asean UK Sage scholarship. So whilst you can study that at Imperial, you wouldn't be able to then apply for the scholarship as well.
Oh, that is for Imperial. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jennie, for that. The next question, I think anybody could answer this. Maybe I'll give the floor to Navdeep to answer the next question. So Christy asks, is she able to have a part-time job while she is studying for a master's?
Yeah, absolutely. And under the sort of visa, the requirements, you can work up to 20 hours per week whilst you're studying during term time. We do you know, there are opportunities to work whilst you're studying, but we do recommend that students sort of think about how many hours they're going to work, because a master's course is quite intense. There will be a lot of work that you'll need to do outside of your core study hours, your contact hours as well, and the research that you'll need to do. So whilst you can work up to 20 hours a week, and there's lots of opportunities available both on campus and in the city, I do recommend that sort of just being kept mindful of how many hours you do work, so that it doesn't impact on your studies. It's supposed to, you know, something that complements your studies, and allows you to have a good student experience at the same time.
Thank you, Navdeep. The next question we have is for Jennie and Imran. I won't read the entire question, but Bea is asking, given the time frame, if she's able to hold an offer from the university by the April 5th deadline of the Women in STEM scholarship. Imran, maybe I'll call you first, and then Jennie.
Right. Okay. So if I've understood the question correctly, basically for University of Warwick, you don't have to worry too much about, you know, getting an offer, right? So as long as you have already applied for the university, you will get a Warwick ID number, and with that ID number, you'll be able to apply for the scholarship. So even though, and you can submit your application. So even though your application for the course is still pending, it is fine. Please go ahead and, you know, submit an application if you're interested. One thing that I did not mention earlier in my presentation was that when you apply to the University of Warwick, although normally there would be an application fee of about £75, when you are somebody who is applying for a scholarship like the, you know, ASEAN Women in STEM scholarship, then we would be able to waive that. Right, so you don't have to pay the application fees. All you need to do is request for it on your online application. That happens right at the bottom of the application for the course. Yep, Jennie?
Yeah, so I think the question probably for Imperial is around our application rounds, because some of our courses for the scholarship do have rounds. The previous round has closed, and the next round deadline is after the scholarship application. As I mentioned earlier, if you are looking at one of those courses, I recommend that you email me. The email address was up earlier, but I'm sure that can be shared as well. Do that if you can within the next few days. I will talk to the department in question. They are able to make offers and process applications before the round deadline, but it's worth us getting in touch with them to make sure that's something they can do. We say typically it takes 6 to 8 weeks to assess an application. So again, it is important to get in touch with us so we can check we could fast track that, given that we are now under a month and there is Easter closure. So if you are thinking of Imperial, my recommendation really is to try and apply in the next few days if you can, and get in touch with me if you are concerned, because we can chat to the department.
Thanks, Jennie. The next question, Imran has already answered this, but maybe I'd like to ask Navdeep and Jennie. So are there application fees in your respective institutions, and if the applicants apply for the scholarship, is this fee automatically waived, or can this be waived? I think is a question. Navdeep, should I?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. We don't have application fees for the Women in STEM courses that are eligible, but we do have deposits. So those will be waived. So if you let the admissions team know when you receive an offer, on your offer letter, it will state you need to pay a deposit within 4 weeks of your offer. If you just keep in touch with the admissions team, let them know that you're applying for a scholarship, they will be able to waive that deposit for you.
Thanks, Navdeep. Jennie?
Yes, for Imperial courses, there is an application fee, but if you are applying for the scholarship, you are eligible for a fee waiver. And again, there's information on our scholarship webpage how to apply for that.
All right, perfect. Next is from Michelle. Do you have to be awarded with honors upon your bachelor's degree to be eligible for the scholarship, or will an equivalent GPA pass the requirement? So I think this is, I assume this is for all universities, because each would have your own admissions criteria.
Right.
Imran, maybe we can start with you.
Right. Okay, so yeah, generally we do require the Latin honors, from centers of excellence, universities that are centers of excellence, or departments that are centers of excellence, for you to be eligible for the courses. So yes, Latin honors, we do require those.
Thanks, Imran. Navdeep, and then Jennie.
Yeah, in a similar case to sort of what Imran, we would be expecting you to have the honours, but we do look at the application as a whole. So I think it's going back to what we've been discussing about the personal statement. So, and if there's any reasons for mitigating circumstances, it's really important that you ensure that you have a strong personal statement. Academic requirement is just part of the scholarship application that we look for, a very important part, and obviously it's a competitive scholarship process, so we will be looking at the higher GPA, the honours part, but it's part of a sort of broader application process, or all the areas that we look at.
All right, thanks, Navdeep. And then Jennie.
I think, yep, to finish for Imperial, I would need to go and check our entry requirements for the Philippines to be certain. Typically, we do tend to look for degrees with honours across a lot of international qualifications and within the UK. And I think this probably answers the question underneath around the equivalent of a 2-1, and whether we take GPA as well. What I recommend is if you get in touch with me again with your course that you're interested in applying and your university, I can find out the exact entry requirements for you based on that.
All right, thanks, Jennie. Also, for all the speakers, is there an age limit in any of your programs in your university? Okay, so it is a no. So the next question is for Imperial. So Jennie, so Bea is asking I think this is the equivalency, one of the requirements. You can answer this via chat, but if you wish to, so she asked, does that mean we don't necessarily have to have a magna cum laude? She graduated with cum laude, but which is 2-2, I think, but she's able to attain the 2-1 in the subjects mentioned. Will that be considered?
Again, I think it's probably a question I would need to refer to our admissions team. If it's anything that's not so we say identical to the information on our admissions guide, if there's anything unique about the application, we tend to refer to them for advice. So again, please feel free to email me and I can put you in contact with the correct person.
All right, thanks, Jennie. Before I move on to the next couple of questions, can I just invite everybody, all our speakers, if there are, if you could put the email address where Filipino applicants can get in touch with you if they wish to inquire further after this call, that would be appreciated. If you can just put them in the chat. So Joan asks, oh, sorry, Jennie, go ahead.
I was going to say, for some reason, the chat is not actually working for me on Teams, so I can't post messages. I can see them. So if someone from your team would be able to post my email, I'm more than happy for it to be shared.
All right, perfect. Krisan, can you put Jennie's email in the, I think it was in her presentation earlier. Okay, Joanne asks if we cannot apply at this, oh, so I think this is for me. When is the next application period? So this is the 4th year that the British Council is running the Women in STEM Scholarship and the 1st year of the Sage Scholarship. Unfortunately, we cannot announce this early yet if and when or when there's going to be another Women in STEM Scholarship, but we do launch the scholarship around the 1st quarter of every year. So Joanne, if we can invite you to follow our social media page, we make sure that whenever information is made available about the new cohort for the Women in STEM Scholarship, you'll be updated. It's always on our social media page. Okay, Reggie asks, what is their proof of gender for applicants who consider themselves women? Maybe for who wants to start? Navdeep, would you have an answer to that question?
It's a very good question, and I don't think we have actually. I'll have to go back and refer back to the team who are managing the scholarships, and we can come back to you with a answer. I don't know if any of if Jennie or Imran have anything that they could add. It's a very good question, though.
Yeah, it's not something we have covered, unfortunately, on our scholarship
No.
information online. But again, reach out to the university in question and we can chat to the scholarships team
Yeah.
to see kind of what they may consider.
Right, perfect. Thank you. Is it allowed to bring family, and can June bring her spouse work while being in UK? So are they allowed to bring dependents, I think is a question. Imran, do you want to answer that?
I think recently, there were some changes in the UK visa, requirements in terms of, or rather regulations in terms of whether you can bring spouses. My understanding is that when you are being sponsored by a government organization, it is possible to bring a spouse, right? But other than that, it is not possible. So yeah, that's my understanding, that when you are being sponsored by, for example, your government, or by a sponsor organization, it would be possible. But otherwise, no. I think what we need to do is also maybe, I don't know, Pierre, would you know whether for British Council, that would be considered like a government sponsorship or not?
Oh, that is an interesting question. So anything that does involve visa, so we will have to ask our colleagues from the UKVI. So June,
Okay.
if you can, I think we have your email address, June. We will get back to you. We just have to confirm. We don't want to prematurely answer and give you the wrong response. So we will reach out to you separately. But thanks, June, for that question. Hazel asked if there's only one person per ASEAN country who can get the scholarship. So I can answer this. So last year there were 3 Filipinas who were able to get a scholarship from this program. Lian asks, so this is for Warwick. She's wondering if Warwick has the same requirement. What is this? I believe Bath Imperial require bachelor's degree from 2022 onward, or a master's degree. So I think Lian is asking the requirement for Warwick.
No, I mean, basically we would accept a bachelor's degree, like even if it was, earned earlier, like say 2020, 2019. I don't think we have, at the University of Warwick, we do not have any requirements on when you earned your bachelor's degree. Yeah.
Thank you, Imran. I'm also just conscious of the time, so I will select a few more questions. I apologize if I get to skip your question. Maybe a question for all our speakers. Can you give the participants a good tip to get accepted in your respective university? Jennie, I'll go with you, and then Navdeep and Imran.
Yeah, I think I probably covered my tip earlier, but I'll reiterate it. Make sure you're tailoring your personal statement to that course at that university. Don't submit a generic statement for just a subject. We really want to see that you understand our degree and then what you've done to prepare yourself to study that degree with us, and what you'll bring to the course and to the Imperial community.
And then Navdeep.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree with Jennie, but I guess the other one thing I would say is kind of show your passion for your subject in your personal statement as well. So build upon what Jennie said, but we really want to see why you want to come and study that course at that university, but your real passion and why you want to come and do it as well.
And to add on, I mean, I totally agree with what Jennie and Navdeep had said. We also want to see that, but also if you could add a little bit about your career aspirations, what you're hoping to be able to achieve after you've received a degree from this course at Warwick, or this degree, then we would be have a better idea of whether our course would be a really good fit for you based on what your career aspirations are.
Thank you very much, Imran. Again, I do apologize that we're unable to answer all your questions, but we have included, we have put in the chat the email addresses of our speakers. So should you need to get in touch with them for further questions, or if your questions were unanswered, this this evening, you may send Jennie, Navdeep, and Imran emails separately. And lastly, I'd like to thank again everybody for joining us. Thanks, Imran, Navdeep, Jennie, and to everybody who took the time to join us this evening. As I mentioned earlier, we would appreciate if all participants can take time to fill out the feedback form. I've put the link in the chat. This should take no more than 5 minutes, and we would love to hear your feedback about this session. So thank you again, everybody. Happy National Women's Month, and good luck with your applications. Thank you. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye.